Because we're beautiful. Maybe from the future. Whatever. My regular niffler.
Hello beautiful people, how's it going? I'm back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the second episode of Game of Thrones Season 8, and that's... What was the name of the episode? Oh my goodness. A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Alright, here we go. It's very interesting because they actually release the titles of the episodes after the episode airs, and I guess that's just like to not spoil it, I guess, but I don't understand what people would have gotten from A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I mean, that could have been Jaime. That also could have been Brienne, I guess, but that's something that we're going to be talking about later. So anyways, how I felt about the episode varies, like, between, like, the hours of my life in which I look back and I think about it, because basically, I was one of the people who watched the episode as it leaked the night before. Yes, that was me. And when I watched it the morning after, I actually enjoyed it more. I don't know if it was because it was in a more higher definition, or maybe because I just knew that I wasn't going to get as much as I wanted to get in the official, in its like leaked run, because not a lot happened this episode. This was a character-driven episode, which I can appreciate, but since the last episode was the introduction, and this was the character episode, it just really does feel like it's dragging on, and we're at a point where we're only 4 episodes away from the end of Game of Thrones, and we don't have time to mess around. And so this episode, whereas it did give us really important character moments, which I know we're going to feel the payoff in the next episode, the Battle of Winterfell, I think, it did feel slow to me, and I felt maybe if they released this episode and the subsequent episode just one after the other, like on the same night, maybe I would have enjoyed it even more. But just to have to wait another week, it just really does feel like it's dragging on just a tiny bit. But again, I'm still getting amazing quality content from the writers, and so let's just move on to talk about it. From the very beginning, from the first scene, Daenerys and Jaime Lannister are in the hall, and Daenerys is telling Jaime Lannister about the stories that her and her brother used to tell each other about the man who killed their father and how they are going to kill him when they get the chance. And this was very important for Daenerys' character, because later on in the episode, when Theon Greyjoy comes back to Winterfell, spoiler alert, but again, we are talking about the episode, Sansa forgives him completely, and that just goes to show you how they're really painting Daenerys to be a bad character, and I don't blame them, because I'm starting to lose interest in her completely after how she treated Jon at the end of the episode. But again, I'm not going to skip forward. Jaime made some very valid points about how he was fighting for his family. And when Bran says the things we do for love, which by the way was an amazing reference to the very first episode, you get to understand that even though Jaime did do something horrendous, absolutely horrendous, he was doing it to protect a secret between him and his sister. Not something right at all, which we do not condone on this channel. But again, he was doing it for the sake of the reputation of his family, which is all his father ever taught him. And by father, I mean Tywin Lannister, who's dead. But yeah, so Jaime did defend himself, and it was actually Sansa who gave him mercy after Brienne of Tarth defended him. And by the way, this episode really was a callback to all of the fans of Brienne and Jaime's relationship. Even people who enjoy Brienne with Tormund, I guess, really would have enjoyed this episode, because so many character beats happen in that correlation. Another person who actually comes to defend Jaime is Tyrion, which is a bit of a problem for his character, because Daenerys is already losing so much trust in him, because obviously in the previous episode he said that Cersei was going to bring her army, and that didn't happen. And also in the previous season, Tyrion told Daenerys not to go and help Jon with the dragon, and look how that turned out. It was just very complicated, and she's losing trust in him. Now in the next scene, Jorah defends Tyrion, which I guess is a good character moment for him, because Jorah obviously most likely is going to die in the next episode. I can totally see it coming. But he also tells Daenerys that she has to make amends with Sansa for her to be a rightful queen, and to basically just get people on her side, because at this moment Sansa holds the North and people are with Sansa, including me, and I was a huge Daenerys fan before any of this. And her conversation with Sansa is harsh. It's very harsh because you really think they're going to take it into a direction where they're going to team up. And it was great. It really was. And Daenerys says this thing about who's manipulating who in terms of her and Jon, because they find the common ground with them and Jon as they both love him. And she says, you know, I've always wanted the throne, and now I'm in Winterfell fighting Jon's war. And she says, who's manipulating who to Sansa? And that's just irrelevant to me because for Daenerys to get the Iron Throne, she needs to fight this war. She's not doing it for Jon. That's a lie. And I think Sansa, as clever as she is, caught her out on that. And that's when Sansa asked her, you know, what about the North? We swore that we'd never let go of the North, and, you know, we're not going to bow down to anyone. And that's when Daenerys kind of like lets go of her hand and realizes that this isn't going to be easy. Sansa isn't stupid. And it was a portion of the episode that I really enjoyed because, again, this tension cannot be resolved with a conversation, especially with a character like Daenerys, who at this point is becoming very, I don't want to say fraudulent, but just annoying at this point because she's asserting her power and it's not working. And I think a lot of people see that, and she's starting to realize that there are cracks in the way she rules because people are actually preferring the way Sansa does it, which I guess is just excellent. Then moving on, we have a very interesting scene between Arya and Gendry when she visits him and asks him about the Night King and the Whites as he's fought them. And he just tells her that, you know, this is a war that you don't want to be a part of. I know that you're not afraid of murderers, rapists, and all of that. And she basically tells him that she knows death. And he has many faces, and she can't wait to see this one, which again just shows us that Arya is a warrior. However, they have been just repeating the same thing over and over and over again. I don't know if it's because we heard that quote from the trailer, but that's just a bit repetitive. And so I'm done with that. But then later on in the episode, when they kind of realize that time is running out, and Tormund tells Jon that they have until nightfall, Arya and Gendry get it on, and we get to see Maisie Williams nude. And I don't want to be, I don't know how to say this. I don't want to sound strange, but this is something I never knew I wanted, but I'm really glad I got. And for those of you wondering, Maisie Williams is 22, so it's completely legal. But let's just say I really enjoyed that scene. She's, wow. Yeah. Yeah. She is really beautiful. Wow. Wow. So moving on, there's a scene before that in which one of my favorite scenes in the entire episode, actually might be my favorite scene, second to Podrick singing, but again, that's a later problem, when basically Davos Seaworth is feeding the people outside Winterfell, and this little girl who has grayscale shows up to him and tells him that she wants to fight in the war, and Gilly and him kind of persuade her to fight in the crypts, defend the women in the crypts. And I think that's a beautiful moment for Davos, because he has just been through a lot with the death of Shireen back in season 5, episode 9. Her relationship with him was really, really strong. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine today who said that Shireen was Davos's daughter, not Stannis. I mean, we understand that obviously Stannis was her real father, but Davos was the one who spent the time with her, and he needs that redemption for her. Do you know what I mean? And I think that moment was beautiful. And again, we get to see Gilly being, you know, a woman who also was touched by Shireen's character as she taught her how to read. And so just having them to convince this girl not to go and basically kill herself in this battle is just amazing. And on the topic of little girls, later on in the episode, Lyanna Mormont and Jorah are fighting about how she wants to fight and Jorah just isn't letting her. But again, she's going to do whatever she wants because she's Lyanna Mormont. I mean, that's just how it happens. And again, just an amazing character who's been developed so well so well throughout the show. I think her first appearance was in season 5. I mean, I hope I'm correct. It might actually be season 6. But again, an amazing character, just really brilliant. And it doesn't surprise me that she'd want to be on the battlefield facing these walkers. It just really doesn't. And then after that, Sam gives Jorah Mormont his family sword. And I don't understand why. And I watched this twice now. I don't understand why he did that. I guess it's an amazing moment. And at the end, well, not an amazing moment, but at the end, Sam says to Jorah that I'll see you on the other side, which basically just means that Jorah's going to die. That's literally it. There's also a really beautiful scene between Missandei and Grey Worm where he says, he sees these 2 little girls run away from Missandei, and I'm almost sure it's because they were racist towards her. And he just tells her that, we don't belong here, and we can go wherever you want. After we get Daenerys her throne, I'm going to take my army and we're going to go somewhere else. And all I could think of in my head is, A, both of you are going to die in this war. And secondly, well, B, Daenerys isn't going to let you walk away like that. She's just not. She's not into, I can't say she's not into freeing slaves because that's literally all she's done. But he is her army. Grey Worm is the leader of her army. She's not going to let him go off and do whatever he wants. He's very misguided, which again makes me believe that they are really going into the direction in which they want Daenerys to look really bad. They really do. On the other hand, you have the reunion between Theon and Sansa, which I really loved. I really did. Theon is a character that's always just been, I don't know, he went into the wrong direction and now he really wants to prove himself. And I think that's beautiful, and I think Sansa is a forgiving character who just sees the good in people, and I think that's great, really. Then of course nighttime comes and everyone is in this room planning. When Bran tells them all that the reason the Night King is coming is because he wants to destroy Bran, because Bran is obviously the three-eyed raven, and the Night King wants to just erase everything known to man, like all history. And of course, Bran is all of history. Like, Bran is the biggest encyclopedia. Is it an encyclopedia? In all of Westeros, and that's why the Night King is coming. And so they want to plant Bran as bait, which is a great idea, by the way. I don't know who thought of that. But of course, Arya refused it. And Theon said that he would protect Bran and he would be in the center with him, which again leads me to believe that Theon is also going to die. So many people are going to die in next week's episode. It's actually shocking. And if I have predicted this correctly, I will come back to this. And you guys will know, depending on when you see this. Yeah. And then the final scene, or the final set of scenes that I didn't really talk about, probably the biggest scenes in the episode, is in the Great Hall at nighttime when Tyrion, Jaime, Brienne, Tormund, Pod, and Davos Seaworth gather around the fireplace and just have a couple of drinks. And in those scenes, 2 things happen. The first thing, Brienne is finally knighted, and this is the biggest moment for her character. This is all Brienne has ever wanted. From the very beginning of the show, she was loyal to Renly. She was loyal to Catelyn Stark. She was loyal to Sansa and then to Arya. Her duty is to be, to keep with her oaths and just be loyal to whoever she's serving. And the fact that she didn't get to be a knight because she's a woman. Tormund says it himself. He says, screw tradition. I'm pretty sure he said it another way, but I'm not going to say it that way. He said, screw tradition, and Jaime knighted her. And I think that's very beautiful because she has obviously a lot of feelings towards Jaime Lannister. I don't know why, but she does. Obviously he did save her life from getting raped by those guys in season 3 when he lost his hand. So I guess that is a beautiful moment. And then turns out Pod is an amazing singer. Podrick is great, apparently. But again, very amazing music. A very interesting moment that really leads you in to the finale of the episode and that moment that we've all been waiting for when the White Walkers show up to Winterfell. And this is where the episode ends Right after, get ready for this, Daenerys finds out. She really like walked into that. So Daenerys comes into the crypts and she sees Jon, and he's staring at the statue of Lyanna Stark, and she goes, "Oh, who's that?" At which point I was like, wow, you asked for it. And he says, Lyanna Stark, and then she goes, my brother was a great man, yet he raped her, and I can't understand. And then Jon just flat out just goes, no, he didn't rape her. They were actually married in secret. Sam told me, and Bran confirmed it. And turns out I am the legitimate son of your brother, Rhaegar Targaryen, and Lyanna Stark. And my real name, he actually says, my real name is Aegon Targaryen. And we've never heard him say that. And that was just an amazing moment. And the look on Daenerys' face when she says, if this is true, you are the last male heir to the Iron Throne. And I was like, wow. She came to the realization. And the beef between them two is just shocking. She's pissed. Really pissed. Like me last week when I saw her beefing with Sansa. That's how pissed she is. And the drama continues. Wow. I will say, the past 2 episodes have been great. Not my favorites though. Out of the entire series, and I really hope that they pick up the pace, and this Battle of Winterfell really does blow my mind. It's an hour and a half, so we'll see. This could be amazing. It really could be. But yeah, I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like and a comment down below, and subscribe to my channel to see a lot more Harry Potter and non-Harry Potter content. At this point, we're doing Game of Thrones. So thanks for watching, guys. Bye, guys.